I'm sure you've heard the story by now of a guy that stole a plane the other day in the Seattle area and then flew it around for about an hour before he crashed it into the woods, leaving mainly only himself dead. I mean, they scrambled Air Force planes to try to bring it down. I mean, they threatened at least. They didn't actually shoot the airplane down. But it's interesting to me that this whole thing brings once again the whole aspect of 9/11 once again to the forefront for everybody, because people are wondering how the hell this guy stole an airplane and managed to fly it off. The guy's name, Richard Russell, climbed aboard a plane at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport where he worked, flew for an hour by himself, and then crashed the plane in what appeared to be some kind of solo suicide mission, it says here. I'm getting this from the Friendly Atheist blog at pathos.com. It seemed to come as a surprise to those who worked with him and even those who knew him best, but his family's statement included an interesting nugget. And this is a quotation here. It says, "This is a complete shock to us," the family said in a statement Saturday night. "We are devastated by these events, and Jesus is truly the only one holding this family together right now." Really? Jesus? Okay, fine. His family was Christian, as Hemmett here says, so that makes sense, but was he? And according to one report that we have a link to here as well, which is from the Seattle Times, says that Russell was active in the church and served as a leader in the local Christian youth ministry. Young Life is what it was called. So a devoutly Christian guy stole and crashed an airplane, putting a number of people's lives in danger in the process. And the interesting thing is to see the fallout from assholes like Bryan Fischer from the American Family Association, who left a tweet out on Twitter the other day on Saturday morning when much of this information was already made public. He said, "It might not be a good idea to keep Muslims from serving on ground crews. Not that all of them would pull a stunt like this, but we don't have any way of telling the difference between the ones who would and the ones who wouldn't." So let's get this straight, people. A Christian guy stole the airplane, crashed it, and Bryan Fischer, of course, is blaming the Muslims for it. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense there. And as Hemmett finishes up the article, he says, "Devout Christian leader steals a plane and crashes it. Fischer says we should ban Muslims from ground crews." It doesn't get much more bigoted than that. And it's par for the course for the religious conservatives these days. As of this writing, Fischer still has not apologized, which is also what we've come to expect from Christians like him. And that came from Right Wing Watch, because Bryan Fischer is about one of the most deplorable human beings I've ever had the mispleasure of listening to his voice more than I ever care to and reading his tweets. And I used to enjoy making fun of Bryan Fischer, called him the Silver Fox a whole bunch of times. Used to love hearing some of his stuff, especially how dinosaurs were just old lizards that kept getting bigger and bigger because they had an oxygen-rich environment. This is some serious shit. And how they believed that there was an ice shell covering the planet before the flood happened. It's pretty crazy stuff. But, I mean, shouldn't be surprised that this man would be so bigoted. He's been pretty much against everybody that's LGBTQ for a long time. He's against anybody that's Christian, and he's probably one of these people where he would say, well, this guy wasn't truly a Christian if he was willing to do something like this. You know, he always passes the buck onto something else. You'd probably blame that it was Satan or some rainbow Whopper wrappers that happened across his burger one time, somehow got the gay in his system and somehow caused him to fly a plane into a deserted island. There's some crazy shit out there. Hey, atheist, watch your backs. These people are willing to fucking drop planes on you.